Shall I see Mr. All Even in NYC? He's so big. They call him boss. He's a boss. All even. He's so bad.
All Even podcast on a Friday night. Like, share, subscribe. I got a lot to say. I'm not happy.
Sun woke me up gentle this morning.
Jimmy the super intern's here. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How are you?
Coffee smelling right.
I'm not happy. You know that.
I do know that. Some sad news.
Yes,
World
of course. It's always sad when you're talking about the Mets.
I stretch.
Well, why should you be happy? Why should I have nice things? Why?
Let it be righteous all over.
Yeah, but good to see you. You know,
And please, my
Jasmine's in the building. Good to see you, my love.
no bitch ass.
How are you?
today.
As the song says, I'm not here to play. No bitch ass this tonight. There's a lot to talk about. Silent Assassin is not here. I got this rinky dink set up. She's gallivanting the streets. Okay? Shouts to you. But we got a show to do. All Even Podcasts. You can catch me on Instagram and X at All Even Podcasts, TikTok at All Even Media. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm all over the place. Go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The page is growing. A lot to talk about. We got the Pistons forcing Game 7. You got the Spurs busting up the Wolves right now. You got LeBron James and the Lakers in some issues. There's some, tension, maybe? We're going to talk about the Lakers' offseason plans as well. Steve Kerr has returned to the Warriors. There's some Doc Rivers news. And I'm shocked about where the source came from, but I love it. You hate to see it, but at the same time, you love to see it. Giannis news as well. He might be on the move sooner rather than later. You got the Jets. The NFL schedule has been released. A lot of people are talking about that. I want to talk about exactly how the Jets are going to fare this season. I'll go through the schedule, and I'll give my record and prediction for this season. Irrelevant news of the week. We'll talk a little Mets because there are some stuff going on outside of, Clay Holmes breaking his leg tonight. There's some other stuff that I have to discuss. Relevant news of the week and the greatest segment on the week. Greatest segment on the planet, dummy of the week. I am so flustered because of what happened with Clay Holmes. You can't even make this up. You can't make this up, Jimmy. The man has been one of the best pitchers in the league in all of baseball, and he breaks his leg on a comebacker.
Yeah, seems pretty Mets-like.
Yes.
From what I know. Definitely does.
The only thing that would be more Mets-like is if he pitched, got off the mound, and tripped on nothing and broke his fibula. That would be very Mets-like.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mendoza said he's going to be out for a very long time. Just pack up the season. Pack it up. I'm taking Jasmine to the game, for a couple of months. I don't even want to go. It's for her. I'm there for her to support. But I don't even want to go. What's the point? Anyway, we'll talk about that a little later. Pistons, Cavs. Pistons force Game 7. And that will be in Detroit. And good stuff. Good stuff for me. Let's go ahead and go look at the box score of this game, because there's something that I want to check specifically. So they won 115-94. They beat them down on the road. And here's what I wanted to check. Let's go ahead and go look at the Cavs. Okay. So Donovan Mitchell has a terrible game. 18.6 for 20 from the field. James Harden actually had a good game. 37 minutes, 23 points, 6 for 13 from the floor, 3 for 8 from 3. 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He was a -5 and a plus-minus. Donovan Mitchell was a -25. So Cavs just did not have a good night. Pistons came to play. Cade Cunningham struggled to shoot as well, but you had Paul Reed that came big. He was big. And Jalen Duren, he ended up coming back and having a very, very big game. I was looking for James Harden to struggle here. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for James Harden to not have a good game, because in James Harden's history, anything past game 6 or game 5, he normally shits the bed. That's just what he does. So I'm shocked that he had a good game, but I'm also very shocked that Donovan Mitchell had the game that he had. So, we'll see what happens in game 7. Detroit is going to be rocking. I'm going to look forward to watching that game, because I believe that whatever team wins, I don't think that either team is going to have a shot at the Knicks. I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to sweep either team, because that's not going to happen. But I do see the Knicks I see the Knicks advancing in 6 games, no matter who they play, because I had the Knicks playing in the NBA Finals. I called this at the start of the season. I called Knicks Spurs. I called this. So not a shock to me. And that's a segue into the next part. Spurs are dog walking the Wolves right now. They are cruising into the Western Conference Finals. I can't see the Wolves coming back at this point. Jimmy, give me a updated score in regards to this game.
They are 74-61. So they dug back a little bit.
Okay.
It's halftime now. So they're not dead. They look dead.
74-61. So they literally cut that lead in half. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. So we're gonna keep monitoring this game as this pod goes on. But I would love to see Spurs OKC. That's what I want. That's what I think that we're gonna get, unless the Spurs they end up choking and shit in the bed. I do predict that Spurs will go against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. Let's go ahead and move on. Now, Dave McMenamin, very, very good reporter, put out a very, very interesting piece about LeBron James and his tenure as a Los Angeles Laker. He's been here for 8 seasons. It's the longest period of time, longest stretch that he's ever been with one team in his entire career. So LeBron James he's a Laker. That's just the way I'm looking at it. Like, he's been here. He's probably going to get his jersey retired as a Laker. Probably might get a statue as a Laker. We'll see what happens. But Dave McMenamin states that there is some tension going on here in the organization. And the tension is specifically between him and Rob Pelinka, and his feeling at times that he's underappreciated by the Los Angeles Lakers. And how do I feel about that? Do I think that it's true? I think that any relationship that's stretched over a certain period of time, right? We're not talking about something that's 6 months or 3 months. If you're talking about years, there's so much history there in those years that I'm sure at some point during those years that there's a feeling that you're underappreciated for whatever reason, right? It could be an isolated incident. It could be something that's dragged on throughout the entirety of the relationship. Something might be there to be able to give you this notion of you just feel underappreciated. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You just feel that way. So there was an instance, and I want to go ahead and get the actual I want the actual video because I want this to play. Let's see if I can be able to get this.
What ends up, we don't know, but at this point, in retrospect. Okay.
Good to see you, though, man. I appreciate you. Why aren't there more than one game ball?
It's a good question.
Wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah.
Hey,
had some foresight there.
I understand, like, this is this would be like Oprah giving away cards. You get a game ball. But there were so many milestones.
Yeah. So we're talking about March 31st.
Yes, sir.
Lakers beat the Cavs.
Mm-hmm.
It completes what ends up, we don't know, but at this point, in retrospect, they've now gone 16-2 over a 32-day stretch. And in this game against the Cavs, LeBron James, most wins in NBA history combined, regular season.
And against the Cavs.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
15,000 points for Luka Doncic for his career, 5,000 points for Rui Hachimura. And it secures back-to-back 50-win seasons and 100 wins in JJ Redick's coaching career. So in the post-game locker room, JJ Redick doing a good job and kind of recognizing this group accomplishment is listing off all the things that were done by his team that day.
Mm-hmm.
And as JJ's addressing the room, Rob Pelinka takes his turn to address the room, is holding the game ball, and presents it to JJ Redick. Shortly thereafter, LeBron James, who, of course, he arrives to the arena wearing like an outfit and then showers and changes and stuff and leaves in that outfit. Well, this night was still in the practice shorts, ice bags on his knees, slide sandals on his feet.
And he walked right out.
Walks out.
By the way, Dave McMenamin here on the Rich Eisen Show talking about his piece that's on ESPN.com that's kind of burning up the entire NBA community, certainly here in Los Angeles, California, live on the Rich Eisen Show. So LeBron James.
So Dave McMenamin's on the Rich Eisen Show, and he says that particular instance on March 31st looked like it was an issue, where LeBron is now the all-time winningest player in league history, but there were so many different things that were going on. Luka scores his 15,000 point, Rui scores his 5,000 point, JJ gets his 100th win as a coach, and LeBron James does this. And Pelinka goes ahead and just isolates JJ Redick's achievement. LeBron James, according to Dave McMenamin, just walks out, has his slippers on, he's iced his knees, and he kind of just walks out. And for me, I'm just like, can you take that as him feeling slighted? No. I think that JJ Redick, acknowledging all of these particular things that have happened prior to Pelinka doing what he did is acknowledging the situation. Who knows if Pelinka was even aware? Although he should be. You are the president of the team. You should be aware. Somebody had to give you some keynotes or whatever it is. But for him to not say something or give LeBron the game ball or whatever it is, I don't think that particular instance is why LeBron James felt slighted or underappreciated. It's just a totality of the 8-year relationship, right? Like, if something happens in your relationship and there's one day where you just completely lose it, had nothing to do with that day. You understand what I'm saying? There is a buildup of emotion that whatever happened that day was just a tipping point. That was just what took you over the side, but it's not what caused it. This is just built up over time. And I think that if you go through the years, you know, LeBron wanting an extension last season, didn't get it in the offseason. You know, the constant not being able to maximize the roster as best as they possibly could. Rob Pelinka making mistakes. LeBron James getting blamed for certain things. The pressure of LA. Just the nature of just being in a partnership for that long is going to have some type of strain. These are professional athletes. This is a guy that no matter where you have him on your list is one of the greatest players that have ever played this game. That in itself comes with pressure in regards to how to appease somebody like that. So, do I think that this particular instant bothered him? Not necessarily. I think he kind of looked at it like, this dude. You know what I mean? Just kind of like just scoffed it off and just probably wanted to start his rehab early or just wanted to get out of the building, go home, right? But when you factor in Luka now being here and the organization catering to Luka, and he was told by JJ Redick that, hey, we need you to be the number 3 option this year. Not saying that JJ did it to disrespect LeBron, but how to be able to maximize Reeves and Luka. LeBron had to play a backseat role. Was he happy with that? Sure, it wasn't the greatest news for him to hear, but for him to be able to actually take that role and accept it and thrive in it, all of those things factor into this. So, again, do I think that that particular reason caused the issue? No. But there are some other things that we can talk about here. So, we talked about the Luka stuff, and it says ESPN says Lakers officials sometimes watch LeBron like an anonymous player and guessed what salary he deserves next year. The article says LeBron's camp could view that as insulting. So they're also saying that there's a contract issue here as well now, right? LeBron James is going to be turning 42. Still one of the top 30 players in the league right now. If you want to put him in the top 20, if he's not in your top 10, whatever it is, he's still one of the top players in the league right now. What does his dollar figure value, where is that set at now? Because we understand that if there's no salary cap, you pay LeBron James $400 million if you want to. That's how much he's valued and worth. The hell, there's probably no amount that you can be able to put on what a LeBron James's impact on your roster does for you. But if you're trying to build this team to be as competitive as possible, because we see where the dynamic is going in the Western Conference. You got the OKC Thunder, you got Spurs, and then way down here, you have the Lakers, because I can honestly say that the Lakers are the 3rd best team in the West, right? If you want to put the Wolves in there, if you want to put Denver in there, but they're somewhere in there. And if you want to put them on top of those two, that's fine. But the gap between 1 and 2 and 3, it's not even on the same street. We're talking about Mars and Earth. You know what I mean? And that's the problem, is that are the moves that the Lakers are going to make going to be able to shorten that gap, or is it going to widen the gap or just stay the same? Because if it stays the same, then what does it matter how much money you pay LeBron? Just give him the $50 million, according to Windhorst. That's what Brian Windhorst is saying. Brian Windhorst is like, just give him the money. If he's asking for $50 million, just give him the $50 million, because the Lakers are not going to be good enough to compete against OKC or the Spurs next year anyway. So just kick the can down the road for a year. No. What you need to do is come up with a plan, Rob Pelinka. Come up with a plan that can be able to be a good plan to be able to build this team and help this team get over that hump. Because, again, basketball and sports are funny things. You can be able to have a team on paper and they can be the greatest team and all this other stuff, but you still got to play the games. Injuries happen, things happen. We just witnessed the Lakers be able to overcome the 13th highest odds in betting history to be able to win that first round series against the Rockets. No one picked the Lakers to win this series. Yet they did it, and they did it without their star player. So who's to say if Luka was available for the OKC series that they don't win a game or two? You never know what happens. Shea didn't have a great series. And if he continued to shoot like that and then have Luka there, some things might happen. You never know. You just never know with sports. And that's the beauty about it, right? So what's the dollar figure? I don't even know what the dollar figure is. But my biggest thing is, as a Laker fan, I need Rob Pelinka to show some real aggression to be able to put this team together and put together a contender. Lakers are not a contender right now. Austin Reeves, as good as he is, I like Austin Reeves. But I've said on this show, I've said on social media that you cannot rely on Austin Reeves and give him $40 million. Austin Reeves reminds me of the white James Harden. He's great in the regular season, but when it comes to playoffs, it's rubbish. He'll give you little sprinkles and pockets of good there, but overall, it's just garbage. That's not worth $40 million. Is it worth 30? Yeah, because I think that Austin Reeves, he needs to be somebody's 3. Not a number 2, damn sure not a number 1. If he's your number 3 option, you probably have the best number 3 option in all of basketball. If you put him as your number 2, it's not your best number 2 option in all of basketball. Might not even be in the top 5. That's a problem. So you got to figure out how to be able to maintain your depth, how to add to your depth, how to do player development, how to draft well. All of these things the Lakers have not done. They have not drafted well. They have not developed their players well. They have not built the depth up in regards to their team. All of these things they have failed at. They have gotten little pockets here and there. You find a way to get DeAndre in, and it hasn't worked. You got Marcus Smart, which was a good addition. But you have to find ways to keep Rui Hachimura. Rui Hachimura is a need, is a must. You got to keep him. Luke Kennard, is he somebody that's going to be on your team? And if you do want to re-sign him, what is the number? Austin Reeves, LeBron James. You know, you have to add some other pieces, maybe a big man, an athletic wing or two, some young talent. There's a lot that you have to do, and the Lakers have the second most cap space in all of basketball heading into free agency. But what do you do with it? Can Rob Pelinka be able to create magic? Because if he can create magic, if he can be able to put a team together where LeBron and his camp is like, oh, Rob, I cooking. Okay, Now I feel comfortable to be able to take that $17 or $20 million. But if you're not going to do that, hell, I love LA. I'd love to retire a Laker. I don't want to go anywhere. If that's the case, if you're not going to improve this team the way you need to, then give me all my money. It's just like what he told them back in 2024. You can be able to get these players. I had a list. If you can be able to get these players, sure, I'll take less. We got none of those guys on the list. So why would he take less? Well, you think I'm Tim Duncan? You think I'm Tom Brady? I don't need to take less. You have to prove to me that I need to take less. But if you don't, then I'm going to continue to just do what I do. And you saw in a season where I was not the number one option, I still averaged 22 points a game. When Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic went down with injury to start April, I had to go right back into the number one position, the position I've known my entire life, and got this team to the playoffs and defied the odds in the first round without them. So why should I take less? Now, granted, the way the league is right now is that there's not a lot of teams with cap space. That works in the Lakers' favor. Golden State can be able to offer LeBron maybe the mid-level exception of like 15 to $16 million a year. It's not much. Knicks, probably the same thing, maybe less. There's not a lot of teams and not a lot of options that LeBron James can go to. Now, he can be able to go wherever he wants. If you want to go ahead and take a vet min and sign with anybody, that's his business. He can do that. Do I believe that he's going to do that? No, I don't. So there's a lot to prove here. And Dave McMenamin did ask LeBron, hey, is there any outside of, improving the team and all this other stuff, is there anything that would stop you from coming back to the Lakers? And he was just like, nah. Is there any rift that you might have with anybody? He said, not on my side. So again, there's some history here. There's some hurt feelings in regards to sometimes when you have somebody who's that big of a stature and they're this towering figure over your job or over your business, your household, your organization in sports, there comes a time where it's just like, okay, how do we get around this? How do we try to operate business-wise without necessarily having to kowtow to this person all the time? Hell, the Packers did it with Aaron Rodgers. They had to. They had to deal with his erraticness because he was so great in what he did for that organization. Brett Favre, same thing. So many players that you can be able to pick out in the history of sports and understand that there's a dynamic here that kind of wears thin sometimes. Are we there with the Lakers? Probably not yet. But there's enough respect there that they can be able to just have water under the bridge and move on. But there's a lot that they have to do, especially on the Lakers side. They have to prove that they can be able to deliver, because Pelinka hasn't been terrible, but he also hasn't been great. He's kept this team afloat and competitive, but you need to do more now. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can be able to share this screen because I want to go ahead and I want to look at this particular. Is it this one? It's this one. Here we go. So if we go ahead and go look at this, there's so much here that the Lakers have to do. So Rob Pelinka believes that 15-2 record that they had in March was a sign that they can be able to build on it. Coming back with the same roster is not a palatable option. Of course, they need to improve. We talked about that. Luka Doncic was promised a whole bunch of things to be, in regards to upgrading the roster, rim running big, two-way players, athletic wings, quality shooters. So there's a lot of things that the Lakers have to add, man, for them to even be a decent team. Austin Reeves declined his player option. We're going to see how much he wants. Never said that he wanted the max. Never said that he wanted the max, but at the same time, can't give it to him. Just can't. He's not worth the max. Sorry. They said that Golden State and Cleveland are watching the situation. We discussed that. Jackson Hayes and Marcus Smart, they need to come back. So you got to find ways to re-sign them. And throughout it all, the Lakers felt that this season was a success. Of course, you can definitely pinpoint that. Of course, it's a success. Back-to-back 50 win seasons for JJ Redick. That's impressive. Being able to get out of the first round. That's impressive. Having the second most cap space and putting your team in a position to be able to add pieces. Pretty good. They have a late first round draft pick this year, which they have to go ahead and hit on. So there's things that they can be able to do here. There's some Giannis talk that they might be in a race for. Who knows? So, again, going back to the original ask is there some hurt feelings? Of course there can be, just because of the length of the relationship. That's just normal. So, moving on. Steve Kerr is back. Steve Kerr signed a 2-year contract to return to the Golden State Warriors. And for me, I'm just like, why? Why would you want to come back to that bum-ass team? Why would you want to come to that bum-ass team? They're old. You got Jimmy Butler, whose leg is on backwards. He ain't ready to come back yet. Draymond Green, old, and continues to just keep talking like he just gets himself into trouble. Stop talking so much. And then you got poor Steph Curry who's breaking down. So what do they got? Even if LeBron James were to go to the Warriors, are they going to win with that old-ass team? No. You think they're going to be competing with OKC and the Spurs with them old-ass legs over there? No. And I'm only playing with Steve Kerr because I respect the guy. So if he wants to come back, no matter how many years he wants to come back, if he wants to go ahead and retire or have one last run at this, so be it. So this is what Steve Kerr said.
My wife said something. She said, you might coach again someday, but you'll never coach the Warriors again. And that was really meaningful to me because I love this team. I love our players. And that struck me. I couldn't imagine walking away from the Warriors. And so at that point, it was really, what do you guys want to do? And we had great meetings, and over the course of about a week, we all agreed, let's do it. And so here I am. So I'll take questions.
I don't know how. So shouts to him, man. I think he's the one of the highest paid in the league right now. So if they feel that they can be able to have one last run at it, Draymond Green said that he doesn't know if they're going to be able to compete at a championship level, but you have to kind of like rework what success looks like at this stage, right? Is making the playoffs, is being a high seed, is just getting through the season without necessarily being hurt and staying together. That's success. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Golden State. I'm very curious to see how they can be able to add to this team, how aggressive they are in the offseason, who they add, how Steph comes back from injury, how Jimmy Butler is going to be, what type of offseason he's going to have in regards to recovery. So there's a lot of questions for them, man. Steve Kerr has every right to come back. He has every right to see this through. He could have definitely retired with the resume that he's put together as a head coach, as a player, as a general manager. Like he's done a lot of stuff in the NBA. So, shouts to him, man. Shouts to him for being able to figure that out and come back to the Warriors. But it ain't gonna matter, dog. Like look, pack it up. You want to come back for a nice nostalgia run? That's cool. Pack it up, because y'all not doing a damn thing next season or the season after that. Moving on. Now, I am someone who I'm a troll, and I understand this about myself, and I can't help it. Especially when I see stories that bring me great joy to discuss. So you had the whole Doc Rivers thing. I've detailed this and documented this for months, years, weeks, whatever, however you want to put it. You can go ahead and just go look through the timeline of my channel. You can see all Doc Rivers stuff. I talk about him through the years. And I would have thought that it would be a reporter that would break some news. Somebody would get the scoop, and there would be this expose that happens. I'm just like, a reveal of what happened with the Bucks. Nah, we didn't get that. We got it from a player that's currently on the Bucks. You love it. You love to see it. You love to see the honesty. So Miles Turner said Doc Rivers didn't find anybody this season, despite repeated tardiness. Giannis was most likely the player to be late. Giannis was always late. He's getting preferential treatment. So this is what Turner said. Turner said guys were late all the time. Guys were showing up to film when they wanted to show up. Guys were missing meetings. It was one of the craziest things I personally ever experienced. He went on to say, any other team I've been on, guys got fined. And there was a sense of order and a sense of understanding. So yeah, you're late to the plane, fine. You're late to the treatment, fine. You're late to film, you get a fine. But I personally did not experience that last year for the first time in my career. So we'll see what Taylor Jenkins does, our new coach. What a shot at Doc Rivers. Listen, you love to see it, okay? You love to see active players kicking the backs in of coaches, especially retread coaches like Doc Rivers. You love to see it because you can see on the court that these guys just had no cohesion at all. That's not by accident. There's a reason why you don't have cohesion, because nobody's paying attention to film study. Nobody's really paying attention to when you're supposed to be coming in for practice and all that stuff. People are coming in late and there's no accountability. The coach you just allow anybody to just show up when they want to, leave when they want to, and there's no accountability. So why would any of the players respect you, especially when things are getting hard? They're not going to respect you. They're coming to you for what? I'm coming to you when you've blown more game 7s than anybody in NBA history. What have you done as a coach for me to respect you and ask questions? No wonder Giannis didn't want to come to practice and come to film study. I'm coming to film study for what? To speak to you? You're going to tell me what I did wrong? How about we do a coach study? And we can be able to tell you what you did, what you and your staff did wrong. How about that? Unbelievable. But this is what I expected. This is not shocking to me. It's Doc Rivers. He couldn't lead you out of a Macy's parking lot. I love to say that, but it's true. He couldn't lead a parade. He's not a motivator. He's not somebody that has his pulse on the team. He has no idea what's happening. He's a weasel and a retread hire that has finally realized that nobody wants him in the NBA anymore, so he's forced to retire. You think that some team calls him right now that he wouldn't think about coming back? But guess what's not happening? The phone ain't ringing. That's what's not happening. That's why he's leaving. It's not shocking to me. So, of course, you're going to have a guy like Miles Turner like, yo, I've never seen this. I've been in the league mad long, and I've never seen this. There's a reason for it. Because some coaches out there, if not all of them, have respect for themselves, and they have respect in regards to the organization and the players. To the point where you're going to be able to hold these grown-ass men that are getting paid millions of dollars accountable. You can't come here late, bruh. Film studies at 3:15. You're here at 3:15, which means you're late. Give me that money. Oh, you're late to the team playing? The team playing is either going to leave you, you're going to have to figure yourself out, come to the game the way you want to, or you're going to have to pay this money. But to have a coach that just does none of that stuff, you're a substitute teacher. That's all you are. When the real teacher's out and the sub comes in, nobody pays attention to the sub. Everybody's clowning and making jokes, and the classroom is loud as hell. The substitute teacher has no rapport with the students. It's party time. Well, let the teacher come back. There was a time where I remember we had it in our class, right? So bell rings, teacher's not there. Everybody looks at each other like, yo, teacher not here. We get an off day. So substitute pulls in, and everybody's loose now. Everybody's lax and clowning around, right? Lo and behold, real teacher comes back. And the real teacher said, I wasn't gone. I just wanted to see how y'all was going to react. And boy, did I get my answer. So everybody's going to be in trouble now. We're going to have a pop quiz. So that's what happens. Accountability structure? No accountability structure. What do you think people are going to go ahead and want more? The one that doesn't have the accountability structure. I'll be able to do what I want. There's no ramifications for my actions. I can be late. I can not have my homework. It doesn't matter what I do. But that accountability structure makes you look in the mirror, makes you be professional, makes you have to be on your P's and Q's. And Doc Rivers doesn't do that. The only time that a Doc Rivers team ever looked good and they held each other accountable was back in 2007, 2008. You know why? They held each other accountable. Because you had 3 Hall of Famers on that team. They didn't need Doc Rivers to win that championship. You could have rolled somebody out there and coached that team, and they still would have won. He had nothing to do with that team. It was everything to do with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, and the bunch of guys that were as gritty and tough to be able to win that championship. It had nothing to do with Mr. Retread. So this doesn't shock me at all. In fact, I'm surprised it took this long for somebody to say something. Moving on. Sticking on the Bucks, they said that Giannis looks like he may be moved before the draft or during the draft. And I would love for that to happen. I would. What team do I think that he would go to? So it says, and if NBA executives increasingly expect Giannis Antetokounmpo trade as Bucks signal desire to move on. And I've been saying this how long, Jimmy?
At least this whole season.
At least. It's time. It's been time. I tell people all the time, Giannis is what they think LeBron is. Seriously. Just think about that. You ever heard about LeBron James being late to practice, late to film study, late to team meetings? Never heard that. Never heard that before. You know why? Because you got a guy that loves the game and has an accountability structure. But Giannis, Mr. Big Man on campus, the fact that he knows that he owns that franchise, he can do what he wants. Giannis is who they think LeBron James is. Giannis is the one that got Adrian Griffin fired. Giannis is the one that got Doc Rivers hired. Giannis is the one that forced the team to go get Dame. Giannis is the one that forced the team to break things up to make sure that they're a championship team. Giannis is the one that forced the team to put his two brothers on the roster. Giannis is the one that continues to waffle back and forth about him not wanting to be on the team or him wanting to stay and him wanting to be on the team and him wanting to leave. You ever heard LeBron James do that? Giannis is who they think LeBron James is. And here's the problem now. Giannis is starting to break down. So, of course, teams are going to be lining up to go get Giannis. Golden State Warriors, I heard, are going to be very aggressive for him. Hell, go get him. But there is some type of wear and tear happening. Didn't have a complete season this year. I think he got banged up in the playoffs last season, the season before. There's some wear and tear there. Be careful. Because as a Lakers fan, I'll tell you right now, I don't want him. I don't want him. It's going to cost too much, and I don't need that type of divaness. I think him and Luka would play well together, but I don't want him. I would rather be bad than go get Giannis. Because what comes with Giannis is too much. It's too much maintenance for a guy that's won one championship and hasn't proven that he can be able to do it somewhere else because he's been in Milwaukee his whole career. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just happy that Milwaukee said, all right, enough. We're done. Where you want to go? We'll do the honors of making you go wherever you want to go. Just go. So we can be able to start from scratch, rebuild this thing, break it down to the bare rungs, and start all over again. Because at the end of the day, it's Milwaukee. The fans will understand. They're not going to be clamoring and say, well, we demand excellence. It's Milwaukee. Let's be honest. They've been very grateful to have Giannis for this long. They've been very grateful to even have a championship. Please. They can do a rebuild. What team do I see Giannis going to? I mean, when you talk about a team that has the assets, Spurs have all the assets. I think Houston looks like they probably may have some assets. Miami might have some assets that they want. I don't think the Lakers have an enticing enough package. I think Golden State can be able to try to put something together if they want those particular land of misfit toys pieces over there. We're not even going to talk about the Clippers. Who the hell cares about the Clippers? So yeah, there's some teams, but he's gonna have to figure it out, man. He's gonna have to figure it out. I know that the Bucks are gonna want to do right by him, which means that he's gonna go somewhere where he thinks that he can be able to, maximize his talent the most. But I just want it to happen already. I'm just done with it. Like the whole Giannis saga just needs to end. Go somewhere. And if you don't want to go anywhere, then go do something with yourself. I want to be nice. I could say something. I can say more, but I won't. Moving on. Now, I love my Jets. And I said that I'm taking this year off. I am. Not before I go ahead and give my prediction of what their season is going to look like. So let me go ahead and go see what the schedule is, because let's see here. Very, very interesting. Okay. Week 1, you got the Titans. Week 2, you got Green Bay. Week 3, you got the Lions. Week 4, you have the Bears. Week 5, you got the Browns. Week 6, the Patriots. Week 7, Dolphins. Week 8, got the Raiders. Week 9, Chiefs. Week 10, Bills. Week 11, Chargers. Week 12, Dolphins. You got the bye week in 13. Week 14, Broncos. Week 15, Cardinals. Week 16, Patriots. Week 17, Vikings. And week 18 to end the season is a division game with the Buffalo Bills. So let's go through it. Week 1, win or loss, going against the Titans. Titans have a young quarterback. Robert Saleh's now over there. He's building that defense over there. I will say that Jets win this game. Week 2, it's nothing much to think about. Loss. They will lose to the Packers. Week 3, nothing to think about there. Loss. They will lose to the Lions. Week 4, the Bears. Nothing to think about there. They will lose to the Bears. So we are through 4 weeks, 1-3. Browns, week 5. They're going to take another L there. Week 6 against the Patriots. They will take another L there. Week 7 is when they get off the schneid. They do beat the Dolphins in week 7. So where are we right now? 2-5, right? Week 8 against those Raiders, Fernando Mendoza. They're going to take the L there. Okay, so we got 2-8. Week 9 against the Chiefs. Come on now. Loss. Week 10 against the Bills. Loss. Week 11 against the Chargers. Loss. Week 12 against the Dolphins. They sweep the Dolphins, right? So now they're what? 3-10, 3-11?
3-9.
Is it 3-9?
Yeah.
Okay, 3-9. So now we got the bye week. They got to think about it. Maybe they bench Geno in the bye week. I would love to see that. Bench Geno by week 4. That would make me very happy. Okay. Week 14 coming off the bye, you got the Broncos. Loss. Okay. Week 15 against the Cardinals. I give them a win against the Cardinals there. Week 16 against the Pats. Tough games. Loss. Week 17 against the Vikings, they beat the Vikings. And week 18 against those Buffalo Bills, depending on how the season goes, I think if Buffalo is 13 and 13, or they're 12 and 4 at this point. They want to rest their starters. Jets are not playing for anything. They rest their starters. Jets play this game and they beat the Bills. And what is the record?
That's 6-11, right? Is that how many games there are? 17?
17.
Yeah, I think it was 6-11.
Was it 6-11? So if it's 6-11, then I'm taking that game away. They're going to lose to the Bills. I want them 5-12. 5-12 is the record. That's what I got. And I think that's a good position for the Jets to be in, because you have 3 first-round draft picks, so you want to see what the Colts are going to do. You hope the Colts are bad. You hope that Cowboys end up having a bad season, and you have a bad season, because if you have all 3 of those things happen at the same time, magic will happen in the first round of the playoff in the draft. Could you imagine that the Jets get 3 top 10 picks in the same draft? Insane. But either way, they're going to get their quarterback next year. They're going to get Arch. Okay? Arch is coming. But I think outside of the record, don't watch the record. I don't want people to think about that I'm just shitting on the Jets because I just want to do that. It has nothing to do with the record. You can go 5-12 and still be able to have great player development. You can still be able to make great strides going into the offseason and next season, because you have a young team. You have some veterans there. You just paid Breece Hall. You want to make sure that guys are just trending in the right direction. You don't have to win next season. You don't have to go from being one of the worst teams in the league to being one of the best next season. That's what I expect from them the season after. Jets are coming. And all the jokes that people like to make, they're going to stop soon. My man Dan Muji, or whatever the hell his name is, that boy is cooking as general manager. I like him. And we have all of the things that we need to be a successful team. So, I'm going to see what happens. We're going to head to...
You got to be kidding me. I mean, how do you watch that? I mean, yeah, they stink.
Jimmy, there's only one irrelevant news of the week that I want to discuss. There's more things I can talk about, but there's only one that I actually want to talk about. And the reason why I only want to talk about one is because it's so funny that it needs to be discussed. And un momento, por favor. I'm going to go ahead and find this. Where is it? Hold on. Here we go.
Title, I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. My obedience is to God, not to people. And so as long as I'm in his will and I'm serving and I'm doing his, his word, my sheep will know my voice, even the sheep in wolf clothing. That is not my battle.
Well,
that's
the
his.
questions that are out there, why not provide the proof of your degree? Why not?
Well, a couple of things, right? I have multiple degrees. And my thing is that my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles. It's in how effective I've been. All of my sessions have been live for the most part. My sessions with Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, B. Simone, they have all been for the world to see. right? So no one knew who Dr. Bryant was prior to seeing all of my
Stop
sessions
calling yourself a
that
doctor.
were live. And they deemed it, as well as I did before they did it, they can't validate.
This is absolutely great. And the reason why is because you got all of these licensed therapists coming after Dr. Cheyenne Bryant now. We love it. Listen, it's just like that video when they got Saddam, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we got him, right? You didn't have to do this. All you had to do was say, hey, I went ahead and tried to get some type of certification and all this other stuff and didn't go through with it. But you're well-spoken. You have confidence that people like. You're a good-looking girl, right? All of these things are working in your favor. You didn't have to lie about this because at some point, right, you keep moving up that social ladder, you know what's going to happen? People are going to start digging into your past because once you start saying things, people will say, oh, that's interesting. Let's go see exactly what it is. So when you go ahead and say that, oh, all of your records got wiped away because the school is gone, that's a lie. Because if you were certified and all this other shit, if you have the credentials or the whatever the terminology is, I'm not gonna say I know all the terminology, but whatever the terminology is, if you had it, it would be in the database. The database doesn't get destroyed with the school. You understand what I'm saying? If I have a 4-year degree or a PhD or something, the school is not where I got it from the school, but it actually comes from Albany. So they have the records, don't they? I can just be able to call Albany and say, hey, do you have this? Sure we do. We'll send it to you. So the fact that you can be able to say, oh, well, I'm only going to speak about this once. You know why? Because we got you. We got you. We got you. And shouts to my friend, right? Shouts to my homie, spiritual whistleblower. They love to kick her back in and try to make fun of her all the time, right? But she's always right on some stuff. Listen, we called it. We called this. For the first time that we talked about it, and then we talked about it recently. Was nobody on it like how we was on it? Is anybody going to give me a spiritual whistleblower any credit? Nah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that, right? Because I don't have 300,000 followers. They're not going to do that. But they'll come to my page and like it. You'll see the big celebrities. They'll come to the page and like it. Because I see the clip. It's going off right now. I check my phone. It's going off right now. So again, she didn't have to do this. But because people are such narcissists and they believe that their status puts them above explanation, that's why we're here. But I can promise you this, it's not going to matter. We've already caught her in the lie. You think it's going to affect her money? It won't. Because we live in a society that's not real. Is that people would rather go to the grift than turn the mirror at themselves and look at themselves and say, what are you doing? Because they always like to attach themselves to the hottest thing that's out there, whether it's good or bad. So she's going to get away with it. She's going to continue to take money from people. Yeah, I'm sure she's helped people. I'm sure she's done a pretty good, decent job with trying to direct people's lives or issues. But you didn't have to do this because this is dangerous. And what this may end up leading to that nobody's talking about is litigation. Because if you're doing things illegally without a license, somebody can be able to say, you know what? I don't like the way she talked to me today. I think I'm going to file a suit. We're the most litigious country in the world. We file over $10. You don't think they're going to be able to file because they automatically don't like what she's saying? And now they're going to be able to use all of this stuff against her? Of course they will. So I'm just going to sit back. I'm just going to sit back and watch. And I don't want apologies. I don't. I don't think Spiritual Whistleblower wants any apologies. We just want people to stop putting these celebrities on a pedestal. Because when me and her have these conversations, we sit here and we dissect certain situations and certain scenarios and all these other things, and we talk about these celebrities, we are talking from a standpoint of we don't know these people. We don't care to know these people. We're breaking down the narcissistic traits that they may have, and we're putting the particular pieces together. While you have people out there that will, don't you talk about The Rock like that? We love Dwayne. So just because you're obsessed with stars because you have no importance in your own life, so you have to live vicariously through people that you don't know and you've never met and you probably never will meet. You want to get mad at the people that are actually having real in-depth conversations about why this person behaves this way. Is there a reason why they're behaving this way? Are there traits that you can be able to see as to why or who they are as people? And you want to get mad at that because you're a fanboy. This is why people got caught in this grift with Cheyenne Bryant, because they're fanboys. They either like the way she looks, or they like the way she talks, or they like the fact that she's rubbing shoulders with the celebrities that they'll never be able to rub shoulders with, so they live vicariously through her. We got him. That's all I'm going to say. So, hey, we don't want no apologies over here. We just said, told you so. Moving on. Real quick on these Mets. How'd it feel? Clay Holmes broke his leg on backwards. Mets lose to the Yankees. Of all the people to lose to on a night where one of your best pitchers breaks his foot or his leg, got to be the Yankees, right? And they're going to just over it. So rest up, Clay. You're going to be out for the season. I'm sure they're going to probably get Jack Wenninger here or maybe Jonah. I don't know. If they put Senga back into the starting rotation, I'm going to lose my cool. I am going to lose my shit if they put Senga back. They need to throw his ass to Mars and just keep him there and take the spaceship away. Just keep him out there. This was what I'm not gonna say that I'm happy about it, but man, the baseball gods tend to give you a bone sometimes. And all Met fans, including myself, to this day, we still feel angry about Mr. Diaz leaving and going to those Dodgers. Right? So, would you believe me if I told you, Jimmy, that Mr. Edwin Diaz has something that he might be hiding? And boy, oh boy, is it good. Let's go ahead and look. Oh, here it is. Edwin Diaz has been tied to illegal cockfighting in Puerto Rico. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. But at the same time, you love to see it. You want to go ahead and go to the Dodgers and go get yourself a free ring. Go do what you want to do. But I told you that the baseball gods have a sense of humor. So this is now alleged. Obviously, we got to see how it's going to play out. But Edwin Diaz said, and I quote, yeah, it's a good thing that cockfighting is legal in Puerto Rico. That's why I came here. That's why I'm here. Guess what? It's not legal. Newsflash. It isn't legal. In fact, it's illegal in 50 states. Puerto Rico is a commonwealth, isn't it? Jasmine? Yes. So that means that the laws apply. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if the cockfighting pause. It's a wild. They gotta call it something else, like chicken brawl or something. Like, you know what I mean? Do something else. Hey, yo, what the fuck? But it's for me. It's like you're a professional baseball player. Why do you need the money in that? Why do you need to associate yourself with that, even if you love it? But again, that was funny. I know why you laugh. Even if you love the cockfighting, pause. But that's the rub, right? Is that he thought that it was fine. No one told you? No one. No one in your inner circle said, yo, Edwin, Bobby, I don't think this is legal. We got to go look up something. No one says anything. You just have a crew of idiots. So that's fine. If all of you guys didn't know it was legal, you're going to find you're going to find out.
Dummy, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even have a dummy. I think that's my dummy. I'm just going to put it in there. Because how do you not know that something is illegal? You always have to figure out what the legal aspect of things are. I am not just going to go do anything without checking to see if this is copacetic, right? Somebody's going to come to you and say, yo, I got this new cell phone. $50. Oh, it's a great price. Where'd you get the cell phone from? Oh, I'm not even going to ask. I'm sure you got it from a store. I'll pay that $50. No, I want to ask you where the hell you got this from. You probably stole it. So I got to make sure that I check and protect myself from getting in trouble. Because if I'm the one with the hot item, they're not going to get the dude that stole it. They're going to get the dude that bought it. Where'd you get it? Oh, this nice young man came and gave it to me for $50. Oh, I didn't know it was stolen. You should know. You shouldn't take anything from somebody unless you know for sure what it is. You shouldn't go into any business venture without checking the pros and cons and weighing the risk assessment. I'm very big on risk assessment, no matter what it is. That's why at 41 years old, I've made good decisions most of the time. Risk assessment. Edwin Diaz. So enjoy your rehab because you're not playing right now in regards to your pitching career, and enjoy the lawyer fees that you're going to have to pay for the next 6 months.
Dummy, yeah.
That's all for this show. It's a quick show. Talked about it a lot. My Lakers. I'm very confident that they're going to figure it out. And the one thing about the Lakers, right? One thing about our history is that even when we're down and people don't have any confidence in us, we tend to rise like the Phoenix. Some trade happens, and why'd the Lakers get this? Why? I remember when the whole Luka thing happened in the dead of the night. Is this real? You're damn right it's real. That's what we do. Okay? We get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We get Shaq. We trade for Kobe Bryant. We sign LeBron James. We trade for Luka. This is what we do. This ain't news, Paul Gasol. This ain't news. So something's going to happen. I have sources. You know I got sources in LA. I've heard things. And I'm going to go ahead and check in with my sources very soon to see what's happening. And I will go ahead and report it on this show. And you know what they're going to go ahead and do? They're going to deny it again. Because that's what they do when people that they don't want to give the credit to reports things. It's just like the whole Dan Hurley thing. Wasn't I on top of that too? It was. Just like this whole Cheyenne Bryan thing. We were first. We were first. That's all I'm saying. Look out for another whistleblower interview that may be coming. You never know. That was the dummy. Edwin Diaz was the dummy. Yeah. Cockfighting boy. Don't cross the streams. Sword fighting. This is what he's into. That's all for the show. Until next week, like I said, next week, Silent Assassin won't be gallivanting around the place. She's going to be here and she's going to have to answer some questions. Okay? Answer some questions in regards to why you have me here and I'm not looking good on the great cameras. Okay? And all this great fancy Hollywood lighting. I got some rinky-dink lights right now. It looks fine, right? It doesn't look bad on the camera right now, but I don't like it. Okay? I had to do work. I don't like doing that. I like to just sit here, right? And get all my stuff together while she's making this place look great. And Jimmy, the super intern, is putting all the lights together, making sure everything looks good. Okay, I don't want to do any work. That's all I'm saying. So, enjoy the gallivanting, Silent Assassin. You're going to have to go to All Even Court next week. So until next week, stay safe, stay cool. Peace.